Okay, Chapter 2, Lesson 10, Solving Inequalities by Multiplying and Dividing. Once again, like with adding and subtracting, it's almost the exact same rules for solving equations, except one giant rule. If you multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by a negative number, you must reverse the inequality sign. Pause the video right there. Write that down, circle it, draw a unicorn next to it, write it down. It is the most common mistake when solving inequalities is people forget to reverse the sign. Don't be that person. Let's take a look at example 1. In example 1, we're not going to be using this rule, and then I'll show you where we use it in the next few examples. We've got 7x is less than or equal to 21. So solving equations, if we have multiplying, we should divide both sides. So we're going to divide both sides by 7. These 7's cancel out, leaving us with x is less than or equal to 3. If I were to ask you to graph that, I would expect to see a closed circle shaded to the left. Now let's look at an example. We're going to use our new rule. In example 2, we have negative 3 times x is less than 12. Notice, in order to solve this inequality, we need to divide both sides by a negative 3. Since we're dividing both sides by a negative, you should have a little alert going on in your head right now. That means that this less than sign now becomes a greater than sign. The sign is reversed because we divided both sides by a negative. So x is greater than 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4s. Let's move on to example 3. 5y is greater than or equal to negative 25. We divide both sides by a 5, and our final answer is y is greater than or equal to negative 5. Notice how I did not flip the inequality sign. I didn't need to reverse it. Just because that number is negative means nothing. It's all about the number that you either divide or multiply both sides by. Since that 5 is not a negative 5, it's positive, I do not need to reverse the inequality sign. All right, pause right there before I do example 4. This video does have a video check. Please fill out the Google form on my website or email me at ebahoric@wcpss.net. The secret word today is cantaloupe. Let's see if you can spell it right. Cantaloupe. Try to look it up. All right, example 4. Negative x divided by 5 is less than or equal to 0. Now this one's really interesting. We can actually rewrite this. What we know about negatives is that a negative divided by a positive should be a negative. So it would go to say that if I had a positive divided by a negative, it's still a negative. So I rewrote it as x divided by negative 5 is less than or equal to 0. It's the same thing. Over here is where I worked it out. So we have x over negative 5, and we're multiplying both sides by negative 5. That should send a little alert to your brain. Multiplying both sides by a negative, this less than or equal to sign now reverses to make a greater than or equal to. And since 0 times anything is a 0, our final answer is x is greater than or equal to 0. All right, I'm Mr. Bahoric, and this was solving inequalities by multiplying or dividing. And don't forget, the secret word is cantaloupe.